Greetings, my brothers and sisters. This is the Culture Man coming to you live in Harlem. I would like to say, on behalf of all the vendors in Harlem, I would like to send my condolences to Dr. Sebi and his family, because we heard about the great one that had just passed. We're going to miss you so much, Dr. Sebi, and we love you. And I hope that your family continue the tradition, the works of healing the nation with a natural herb. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. Bless.
Peace and Black Power. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV House of Consciousness. It's my absolute pleasure to be back in the presence of the spokesman for the House of Consciousness. I haven't seen him in a while, but I know what that means. He's been studying, he's been working, probably going from state to state doing a whole lot of work, because he prefers not to be on the camera all the time. He likes to do his work underground and serving the people and studying a lot. So you rest assured that that's what this brother has been doing. Alongside him is one member, one half of the unit team, brother Tarik Hotep, in the house.
Peace and Black Power. Me and brother Tarik right here in Brooklyn. I'm on a panel discussion today. It's called "Are Black People Under Attack?" I mean, this question's almost rhetorical because we know that we are, but it gives us a chance to go into a dialogue and give some detail, you know what I'm saying, and go into some layers of exactly how we are under attack, how the attack works, how it's covert, overt, seen, unseen, and we want to expose some things and then talk about some solution orientation. So once again, it's a pleasure to be behind the lens, in front of the lens, sorry, of Baba Fire Every Time TV, representing for the House of Consciousness, Baba TV, and for black people and black empowerment in general. I also want to give a shout out to Brother Al. You know, Brother Al, which is one of the members, 1/3 of the members of our Uniteam initiative, couldn't make it today, and the reason why he couldn't make it to this specific event is he's doing something that's very important, probably more important than this actual event. What he's out there doing is he's in Edenwald Projects, big up to the Boogie Down Bronx. He's up in Edenwald Projects feeding the kids, you know what I'm saying, by himself. You know, I already had this prearranged engagement. We would have been out there with him. So I have my brother, who is the Minister of Information for the unit team, come down here and hold it down for our team, our movement. And I also want to give a shout out to the other brother. See, the unit team's doing work. You know what I'm saying? We're a unit, which is the key word in unity, a unit. You see, while the brothers uptown in the Boogie Down Bronx at Edenwald Projects, feeding a project full of children, giving them some nutritious food, and the way that brother is, he's giving them some powerful food for thought. You can rest assured of that, you know? And we're out here about to feed the people too, you know what I'm saying, with food for thought and some powerful and pertinent and critical information. So, you know, we're doing our thing, and I don't look at this as work, even though it is, because it's a labor of love. I love what I do, you know? I knew what my mission was from a young man, but evolving was the process that I had to go through and still undergoing. But see, levels of maturity, of discipline, of focus, you know, car crash, you know, just different things developing me into who I am and who I'm becoming. Because I'm being who I am. Being is a part of the process. The same way when you take a seed is what it is, an apple seed. It's being a seed, right? But when you plant that seed in a separate, dark, hostile environment, underground, you know what I'm saying? And you prep it, you separate it from everything else from the other seed, you seed it in the ground, okay? And then when you nurture it and you cultivate it and you water it and you give it enough light, that seed goes through a process. That's right, everything is evolutionary. It goes through a process and it grows. So it's being a seed in the process of becoming what it's destined to be through proper nourishment and with the right amount of light. And I look at that same thing synonymous now with not just my travel on my journey, because it correlates with everybody on their individual journey, on their path. It's a process of evolution. You're being and becoming. So, you know, we're out here doing this work, or I call it a labor of love for the people. And, you know, I just want to qualify myself on different levels to be able to step it up and do bigger and better things as it pertains to black empowerment and liberation. I don't do this for self. Grandiosement, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of that. I don't care if I don't become famous. I don't care if they cut YouTube off tomorrow. I will always still go out there and teach the people, interact with the people, network with the people, build with the people, learn from the people without no damn camera on me. Because I don't do this for the glory. I do this because it's in my blood. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am, knowledge of self. And knowledge of self is multifold. Knowledge of who you are and what you ought to be doing and what your purpose is in life is another form of knowledge of self that we also have to consider as well. Knowledge of your African ancestry and pride in that is a form of knowledge of self, but knowledge of who you are, what your mission is, what your strengths are, how to maximize your strengths, what your weaknesses are, and how to strengthen your weaknesses, and how to evolve and grow, and to serve a purpose. Right here, you know what I'm saying, is what I'm embarking on, what it's all about for me. I'm serving a purpose, and I'm loving the purpose that I'm serving. Peace. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was Tretch from Naughty by Nature for me. I was like, yo, peace, shout out, my bad, bro. So you get that a lot, too, don't you? You don't get that a lot? You look like Tretch from Naughty by Nature? You get that all the time, right? Yeah. Peace, my brother. I look just like him, right? I was like, yo, peace. Hip hop, hooray. Ho. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, anything you want to drop on the people, brother, let them know some of the books you've been reading, information that you can convey to the people out there, because what we do and what this brother does, because we all study, but this brother is studying on an optimal level. And that's necessary. That is very necessary in order to reverse the psychological curse on our minds. In order to break them shackles, you have to be qualified. In order to be qualified, you have to commit to studying, and you have to commit to the right quality of study. It has to be on an optimal level. You know what I mean? And this brother's always doing his research. Every time I turn around, he got a new book. I mean, he's ordering like 2-3 damn books a week and going through them, reading 2 or 3 books at a time. I'm seeing him sometimes, he come around, he got 2 or 3 different books highlighting, you know what I'm saying, underlining, circling, drawing stars and arrows around stuff, because he understands the ethic of study and why it's important. So build with the people and let them know the books you're reading and why.
Peace and Black Power. Thank you, Baba, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for the shout out, Sankofa. Real quick, 2 books that I'm reading. One is the ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors, of course, by Dr. Wilson. And 2 is one book that she recommended called Albert Einstein on Race and Racism. Now, please check that out. Basically, what that tells is Albert Einstein spent his entire life to emancipating black people from Jim Crow and things like that. And when he died, all of the biographers took charge of all of his stories, all of the chronicles of his life, and they rewrote it. So they etched out Einstein's contribution to black society and uplifting them. So please check that out, and that's a book recommended by Dr. Wilson. Also, go on YouTube, look up Dr. Wilson Speaks, and also Nearly Full Junior Radio Speaks.
Yeah, so you know, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We educate ourselves to be qualified to edify. You know, you have to be qualified to edify. And the determining factor of that prerequisite of your qualification is predicated upon studying. You know, Dr. Jacob Carruthers was right and exact when he said that we are engaged in intellectual warfare. So if we're battling for the hearts and minds of the people, we have to have the right weapons for these wars, because the war is multidimensional. There's silent weapons for quiet wars. You know what I'm saying? But this ignorance is loud. You know what I'm saying? But many of us unconsciously are engaged and participants in our own demise by proxy of the fact that they don't understand the hidden hand. They don't understand the hand that they do see, or the actions or the activity that they do see, and why it's happening, what it's geared to specifically. And that's why we have to be qualified to edify through research and commitment to studying. You know, we are revolutionary, not in just theory, okay? We are revolutionary in action, and revolutionary in thought. We're revolutionary in all that we do, think, eat, sleep, and breathe. Does this mean we don't have, that just mean we're perfect? No. Does this mean we have all the answers? No. That means we are being and we're becoming, because that is a process of growth and development when you're real and not romantic. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I want you to go in and talk about a couple of more books, brother.
One more book I wanted to mention. I don't know how I forgot it. Sundown Towns by author James E. Lewin. Now, Sundown Towns basically breaks down why white people don't want black people in their neighborhoods and the steps that they've taken throughout the centuries to keep us out. And when you look at the news today and you see us being slaughtered by cops, things like that, this is one of the major things that they use to keep us out of the community. There's a little part in the book where it talks about driving while black. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's a conspiracy or it's made up term by black people, but this white author actually talks about in his book, Driving While Black, how the police target black people. So that's one book that every black person should definitely check out, Sundown Towns by James Lewin.
All right. Yes. So, you know, the brother's always, he's young too, man. How old are you, brother Tarik?
24.
24, man. It's powerful. When I was 24, I was on it too. Man, I had so many damn books. I forgot a lot of the stuff that I even knew until we have a conversation about some things. And I say this humbly. When we have a conversation about certain things, I tap into the mental file cabinet, and then it pops up like, oh, wow, I forgot I even knew about that topic, until a conversation sparked it, and you have dig into it. Man, information, the power of how the mind works is very powerful. So we know, with all our research and getting, we also want to learn about the mind. Knowledge of self, like I said, is not just your ancestral greatness and your pride in Africa. Knowledge of self is also knowing who you are as an individual. Knowledge of self can also tell me about how the brain works. Tell me the different dynamics and dimensions of the brain. What is the mind? How does the mind work? You know what I'm saying? Talk about different levels of the mind development. You know what I'm saying? Know about the body, the respiratory system, the 4 different intelligence, the digestive system, the reproductive system. You know, different things. That is the knowledge of self too. Becoming very intelligent on every level. Scientific, history, art of war, culture, diet, health. All of these things are factors, because all of these things are plaguing us, or the lack of the knowledge or proper understanding or activity in these things is what is contributing to the destruction and the demise of us. So in order to counter that, in order to offset that, and in order to transcend the design of your demise by your enemies, you must first know what you're fighting against, okay, in order to know how to go about strategically fighting and fighting to win. You know, and the win, and with the when I mean win it isn't we just destroy white supremacy because we read some information. It's over now. All we got to do is stand up and build a school, and white supremacy is going to go away. It's evolutionary. We must be real, not romantic, and we have to know that what we're doing is we're building a nation. What you're adding is a brick, or maybe just a few bricks in the building process. It's a collective and a concerted effort. You know what I'm saying? We all have things to bring. You know what I'm saying? We all have to find out what our gift or our gifts, pluralized, are, and how to basically utilize them in an organized, orderly fashion and in a practical manner, okay, to heal pathologies. That's what this FACTS initiative is that we're doing next week in Waterbury, Connecticut. Shout out to Brother Haru and the brothers out in Waterbury, Connecticut. And that's what this whole panel discussion is. And that's what we do is all about. It is to edify, to break shackles, to get us to transcend. Because we have a divine rendezvous with destiny. And that destiny will not be met unless we are prepared to meet with that destiny. One of the biggest things in our way of our connecting with our divine rendezvous with destiny, which is inevitable, is our lack of a proper and comprehensive knowledge of self with action behind it. So, you know, we want to try to connect the dots, and that's what Baba TV does every time he comes out here to film. at the root of that, and in his heart, he sees black liberation. He sees that as something that we must have and we must incorporate as an attempt to heal our condition in this material reality. So he comes out here and he puts people that he knows is worthy or qualified to come out and edify the people and give them information. Why? Because it's working. That's why people are waking up. We are part of. We're not the reason why all of us are waking up, but we are a hell of a spoke in that wheel of the changes that you see happening with this expansion of consciousness. I got my brother, another long-winded brother. You know, it's going to be a lot of long-wind in the forecast when me and this brother's on deck together. But we always dropping some Jews that's pertinent, that's critical, and that's right on time. Drop it for him, brother.
Yeah. I'm coming in the name of Dr. Sebi. I want to represent, you know, my master teacher, my elder, who, like Sankofa was saying, found his purpose, lived out his purpose on this planet while he was here, okay? And what he did is he left the inspiration, or he left the blueprint for the family to be able to follow and trek. The man made his transition at 83. Our good brother Polite just turned 33, meaning that our good brother has 50 years in front of him to do some of the monumental things that Dr. Sebi came and did. One of the interesting things about Dr. Sebi's story is that he tells the family that he woke up in his later years. He was blind, he was impotent, and he was overweight in his late 30s. Around 40 years old, when they say that life starts and you begin this second phase, this is when this man began to blossom. This is when this man began to find his true self. This is when this man began to follow his path. Meaning that if you're getting this information at a later age, there's no such thing as time. You're just doing circles around the sun. You're just doing solar cycles. You are infinite. You have a purpose. Whatever your purpose is, if you find it at 80, if you find it at 8, you live it out. This is what you came here to do. When you begin to live out your purpose, that's when the magic takes place. That's when you become immortal. That's when you become a legend. He has done his job. Chances are he won't have to come back to this prison planet. Chances are he won't have to come back to Malkuth and do what it is that he has to do, because none of us will stop saying his name. His name will never leave our mouths. The legacy that he left, the things that he left will never leave us. Health is wealth. That is the number one. Self-preservation is the first law, bottom line. He wasn't crippled and crazy at 80. He had his faculties. He understood what he was doing. We know that now we have to face the possibility that he was murdered. Murdered how? Murdered at the hands of these beasts, due to their policies, due to the fact that a man flying into an airport in his late 80s not declaring 50 racks will get him put in jail. Who's to say that he didn't have house? He was 80. You know what I mean? How could you fault that? If I fly into an airport with a black card with $1 million on it and I don't declare that, what you gonna do to me? You feel what I'm saying? So as a result of them taking this man out of his natural habitat and out of his regimen of eating alkaline and organic food, of course they compromise his health. That's one of the most violent jails in the world, that the inmates run a jail, and they had a riot in the jail. So these are the things that we're gonna have to look at. But what we can't do is we can't change what happened. There's no black berets that could come out of a helicopter and go into Honduras and take some heads. You dig what I'm saying? So what we're going to focus on is the legacy. What we're going to focus on the fact that this was a landowner. What we're going to focus on is a large part of the Facts Initiative dealt with Honduras, and it dealt with going back home. You dig what I'm saying? And that won't change. You feel what I'm saying? There's land, there's herbs, he built villages. He did what he had to do. What are we going to do? We are all Sebi now. What are we gonna do? There's no cracker, there's no pilgrim, there's nobody that can never tell us that African people didn't cure AIDS, cancer, and all kind of incurable diseases known to man. We did that. He told you to claim that. He told you that's you. He told you to nationalize his feet, or what he did in the Supreme Court. We all did that. So that's the purpose of standing on the shoulders of the great one. That's what when I wake up, that's what makes me inspired. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a piece of me is not here anymore, but that's okay. Because when you lose a part of yourself, you gain greater. You have to be patient. You feel what I'm saying? So as I'm going through my morning and as I'm going through my transformation, remember I got the light at 5 years old. I was at his feet at 5. You feel me? My son is 8 years old. My son got the light in the womb. He got the light. He sat at the feet of Bobby, Phil, Delbert, Sebi, all of them. And he's 8 years old. And that's my succession. He will succeed me. He's greater than me at 8 than I was at 8. So it's mission accomplished. Sebi is giving birth. These babies is growing up knowing about alkaline. All of that. They know it's whole foolish at like 1. Mission accomplished. So we have work to do. I'm honored to be a part of this movement, to stand on the shoulders of the great ones, to be a part of global. He's global history now. He would be taught in classrooms now. He would be taught in homeschooling curriculums now. He would be taught on TV. The masses of our people who look like us will get these gems now. So that's what happens when you give your body up to the ancestors. But the vanguards of your legacy, they're the trailblazers. One of my biggest regrets is that I didn't accumulate the budget to go to Honduras to document his life, his story, and everything that he was doing in real time. I'm going to have to live with that. But I will never make that mistake again. So it's full-fledged at this point. We in another inning of the game. We're not coming to shake a cup. We don't even want to come and convince anybody of what it is that we're doing and how important of what it is and how global of what it is and how accepted and appreciated. We might have, if it's not accepted here, it will be accepted somewhere else. Please believe that. You can't stop this wave. You cannot stop it. They riding the wave. We providing the wave. That's a fact. You feel what I'm saying? And we're coming to collect, and we're coming to build, and we're coming to stop playing games. And that's where we at. This is the inning that we're in right now. Actualizing the information, making it real, making it tangible, making it applicable, and doing what it do. Breaking records on some, I don't even like to say USA Olympics. It's on some black girl magic. They just happen to be employed by the Olympics. Holla back.